There are dreams hidden deep within the realm of sleep, dreams we see but never truly understand. Pain, it enters our lives quietly, and unless we feel it from within, we never realize how deeply it shapes us. There is so much sorrow inside us, so many silent wounds we carry every single day. We can't talk about them, not to anyone. We hold them in quietly and let them echo inside, and slowly we start to feel the depth of the agony we're living in, a pain that no one sees, a silence that no one hears, an ache that no one else can carry but us. Tonight, we're about to enter a world built from sorrow. So close your eyes. If you can, put on your headphones and allow yourself to relax, because I'm going to take you to a place where the noise of pain fades into silence, where all your wounds, your burdens, your sleepless nights, they begin to dissolve. In this world, you will find peace. You'll get a chance to dream again. Not just any dreams, but the ones you once lost, the ones that still whisper in the dark corners of your mind. If you're new to this channel, join me on this quiet journey. Subscribe and let yourself drift into a dream you didn't know you were waiting for. Have you ever stopped to wonder what path your life is really on? Have you ever paused in complete silence and asked yourself, where am I going? Days pass, nights fade, months slip into years, and all the while, we keep running, chasing dreams, chasing desires. But in every pursuit, there is a cost. Every time we run after a wish, life places pain quietly in our path. Every dream comes with a trial. Every hope hides a heartbreak. We fall again and again, sometimes from disappointment, sometimes from the weight of our own expectations, and sometimes we break quietly. Not just any dreams, but the ones you once lost, the ones that still whisper in the dark corners of your mind. If you're new to this channel, join me on this quiet journey. Subscribe and let yourself drift into a dream you didn't know you were waiting for. Have you ever stopped to wonder what path your life is really on? Have you ever paused in complete silence and asked yourself, where am I going? Days pass, nights fade, months slip into years, and all the while, we keep running, chasing dreams, chasing desires. But in every pursuit, there is a cost. Every time we run after a wish, life places pain quietly in our path. Every dream comes with a trial. Every hope hides a heartbreak. We fall again and again, sometimes from disappointment, sometimes from the weight of our own expectations, and sometimes we break quietly, not from what the world does to us, but from what we do to ourselves. Still, we keep moving. We fight the pain. We carry the silence. We hold on to dreams, even when they start to fade. We don't complain. We don't cry out. We just endure a quiet battle every single day, every single breath. Close your eyes. Let everything fall silent. Take a deep breath and drift into your pain. Feel it. Ask yourself, is this life temporary or just time passing by? We often find joy in watching people who were never meant to be a part of our story. We admire those who don't even know we exist. There are countless stories waiting to be told, not from what the world does to us, but from what we do to ourselves. Still, we keep moving. We fight the pain. We carry the silence. We hold on to dreams. Even when they start to fade, we don't complain. We don't cry out. We just endure a quiet battle every single day, every single breath. Close your eyes. Let everything fall silent. Take a deep breath and drift into your pain. Feel it. Ask yourself, is this life temporary or just time passing by? We often find joy in watching people who were never meant to be a part of our story. We admire those who don't even know we exist. There are countless stories waiting to be told, but the stories of pain, they're the rarest. So if you feel alone in this world of sorrow, if you too are carrying the weight of the world in silence, if you're different, then come, step into our world, and don't forget to subscribe, because tonight we begin our journey. We'll walk between the stars, sit by the shorelines of forgotten oceans, rest under the shadows of ancient trees, and wander the edges of empty deserts. There, we'll feel the silence the world never gave us. We'll taste the peace no one ever offered. We'll finally feel the love we kept waiting for and the pain we've been carrying all along. Sometimes we bury everything deep inside our silence. The words we wanted to say, the tears we wished to cry, the screams stuck in our throat, all left unsaid, and that weight inside slowly begins to consume us. We live, yes, but it feels like we're living someone else's life. Our choices, our desires, all dictated by someone else's expectations. But the stories of pain, they're the rarest. So if you feel alone in this world of sorrow, if you too are carrying the weight of the world in silence, if you're different, then come, step into our world, and don't forget to subscribe, because tonight we begin our journey. We'll walk between the stars, sit by the shorelines of forgotten oceans, rest under the shadows of ancient trees, and wander the edges of empty deserts. There, we'll feel the silence the world never gave us. We'll taste the peace no one ever offered. We'll finally feel the love we kept waiting for, and the pain we've been carrying all along. Sometimes we bury everything deep inside our silence, the words we wanted to say, the tears we wished to cry, the screams stuck in our throat, all left unsaid, and that weight inside slowly begins to consume us. We live, yes, but it feels like we're living someone else's life. Our choices, our desires, all dictated by someone else's expectations. We keep moving forward like machines. No complaints, no hopes. All the heart wants is someone to understand, to hold us. But when we break again and again, even hope dies. Late at night, when the world sleeps, the heart stays awake. Memories rise like ghosts, moments that passed, faces that left, promises that couldn't be kept. We wish time would stop and take us back, back to where things felt just a little better. But time doesn't stop, and we are left to gather ourselves and survive another day, as if nothing ever happened. But the heart knows. The heart always knows. Sometimes we convince ourselves, maybe everything's fine. Maybe things will get better. But deep inside, we know the truth. That faint heaviness behind closed eyes before sleep, the smile we fake, the conversations we force, they all speak of the quiet chaos within. We've become hollow vessels, our souls locked in cages, longing for peace. Just one person who could understand without words. We begin to question ourselves. Am I truly living or just existing? Those days when joy fades for no reason, nights when sleep forgets to arrive, and mornings that rise without hope. And then we begin to feel empty, a dangerous emptiness, one that eats away our passion, our dreams, our desires, even our ability to feel, until one day nothing remains but silence, cold, merciless silence. Then comes the exhaustion, not of the body, but of the soul. We stop wanting to explain, stop trying to be heard. People see us, but don't really see us. We laugh with others, walk beside them, but inside, there's a void that can't be filled. The kind of emptiness only someone who has truly suffered can understand. We grow quiet. We stop speaking and start drowning, slowly, until one day we are entirely lost. We grow ashamed of ourselves, not because of weakness, but because of all the promises we broke with ourselves. The dreams we once held with such fire, now scattered ashes. We told ourselves to stay strong, to endure, but deep down, we knew we were breaking, silently, and that silent breaking is the most dangerous of all. It makes no noise. It simply erases us from within. Time passes, but the pain, it never really goes. It returns in different shapes, as memories, as scents, as echoes of old conversations, and we realize we've learned to live with that pain. It's become part of us, an old companion. We no longer resist it. We simply carry it with us every day, every moment, every breath. And then one day, we dare to look in the mirror. We gather courage after countless silent nights to meet our own reflection. And what we see is a stranger, a face that has suffered in silence, eyes that once dreamed, now just tired. We wonder, is this really me? The same person who used to smile without fear? Who once believed that someone, somewhere, would understand? Maybe we felt too much, hoped too much, waited too long. But if we hadn't, we wouldn't be who we are today. Broken, yes, but real. Tired, but true. This pain is no longer our weakness. It's our identity, and perhaps our greatest strength. Because those who break inside, they shine the strongest outside. We are the ones who live despite the pain, who search for light in darkness, who hold on to hope, even in complete isolation. And still we walk, not because we know where we're going, but because stopping hurts even more. The world sees us moving and assumes we're fine. They think if someone is walking, breathing, talking, they must be okay. But they don't know the weight we drag beneath each step, the stories we bury behind every "I'm fine." Sometimes the hardest thing isn't what we're going through, it's pretending like we're not. We look around and see people smiling. We scroll through perfect pictures, perfect lives, perfect happiness, and somewhere inside, we shrink. We question ourselves. Why can't I be that happy? What's wrong with me? But the truth is, No one shows their brokenness. No one posts their nights of crying on the floor or their mornings of not wanting to exist. Everyone wears a mask, and sometimes we forget we're not alone in on our pain. The silence becomes our language. We start talking to the ceiling, to the shadows, to the memories. They don't respond, but they don't leave either. And in their stillness, we find some strange company. We grow attached to our pain not because we enjoy it, but because it's the only thing that's never abandoned us. Some days, even breathing feels like effort. We inhale grief, exhale numbness. Even crying becomes rare, not because it doesn't hurt, but because we've cried so much there's nothing left to shed. Our tears have dried into silence. Our voice has turned into an echo. And then there are those nights when sleep stands at the door but refuses to enter. You lay down, close your eyes, and the silence screams louder than any sound. You remember everything you tried to forget, the laughs you faked, the places you walked away from, the people who never looked back. Your chest feels heavy, not because you're physically tired, but because your soul is tired of carrying the weight of unspoken things. You turn your pillow to the cooler side, hoping maybe, just maybe, the coolness will touch your pain, but it doesn't, because this pain isn't on your skin. It's buried far beneath, in the parts of you that even you don't visit often anymore. You start wondering if anyone has ever really known you, the real you, not the version you present, but the raw, unfiltered you that sits in darkness at 2 a.m., the version that overthinks every word, rewatches every memory, and still waits for a text that will never come. We begin to lose time, not in a poetic way, in a scary way. Hours pass without meaning, days blend into each other. We forget what day it is. We forget how to feel joy. We forget what it was like to wake up with excitement. And slowly, we become ghosts, not dead, but not alive either. A strange in between. We smile when people talk. We nod when they ask how we are. But inside, we're screaming. No one hears. We sit in a room full of people, and yet we feel alone. Not because they don't care. Maybe they do. But because we've become so used to not being heard, we stopped trying to speak. You begin to wonder, if I disappear tomorrow, who would really notice? Who would call? Who would show up? And that's when it hits. The real fear isn't dying. It's being forgotten while still alive. Somewhere along the journey, we start hiding from mirrors. Not because of how we look, but because of what we see. Eyes that once sparkled now feel distant. A face that once carried dreams now wears the marks of survival. We don't recognize ourselves anymore. And maybe we don't want to. We begin to lose interest in the things we used to love. Music feels empty. Books no longer offer escape. The colors we once adored seem to have faded. Everything feels gray, like the world has dimmed its brightness because our soul no longer matches its light. We walk through life like passengers in our own body. We laugh at the right moments, say the right things, wear the right clothes, but it's all hollow, like we're reading from a script in a play we no longer want to be part of. At times, we feel a sudden burst of hope, a message, a song, a memory, something small sparks warmth, and for a moment, just a second, we feel alive again. But then, it fades, and the emptiness returns stronger than before, because now we remember what it felt like to feel something. There are days when the world seems louder. People's voices hurt your head. The sun is too bright. The wind feels like it's pushing against your skin, and all you want is to crawl into a quiet space and disappear. You start canceling plans, ignoring calls, not because you don't care, but because you don't have the energy to pretend anymore. Pretending is exhausting, and you've been doing it for so long that even your soul needs rest. You begin to crave silence, not the absence of noise, but the silence where nothing hurts, where no one expects anything, where you don't have to explain yourself, where your pain can just be. No questions, no judgments, just existence, bare and broken, but still yours. And then come those moments, those brief flashes, where you imagine a different version of yourself, one that's not drowning, one that's free. You don't even crave perfection, just peace, a quiet heart, a calm mind, a day without heaviness, night where sleep arrives without force. You start writing letters you'll never send, conversations you'll never have. You whisper things to the night sky hoping that the stars are listening. You begin to speak to the universe like an old friend you once trusted, asking it to remember you, to not let you vanish. And still, we wait, not for someone to save us. We gave up on that long ago. But for a moment, just a moment, where we don't feel like we're drowning inside our own skin, we keep ourselves busy. Scroll, swipe, tap, repeat. But the ache stays, because distraction is not healing, and numbness is not peace. We envy those who seem normal, those who can talk without shaking, laugh without effort, sleep without haunting thoughts. We don't hate them. We just don't understand how it feels to breathe that easily. Some nights we stare at the ceiling, not thinking, not dreaming, just floating. Time blurs. 1 hour becomes 3, and still, the bed feels cold no matter how tightly we wrap ourselves. Because the cold isn't on the outside, it's inside. It lives in the silence between heartbeats, in the sighs we never release. We start avoiding eye contact because eyes are dangerous. They see too much. They ask questions our lips aren't ready to answer. So we look away, down, anywhere, but directly into someone's soul. We build walls, not out of bricks, but out of memories, fears, regrets, and we hide behind them, peeking out only when we think it's safe. Spoiler, it never feels safe. Even love becomes scary, because love means vulnerability, and vulnerability means the chance to break. Again, we begin to write our stories in silence, not because we lack the words, but because we fear they'll go unheard. What if we scream and no one listens? What if our truth is too heavy for others to carry? So we carry it alone, like a secret stitched into our soul. Sometimes we forget we weren't always like this. We forget the laughter we once had, the dreams we once chased. We remember old versions of ourselves, like long-lost friends who moved away. We whisper to them in our sleep, hoping they'll return, but they don't. Not yet, but deep inside, A voice remains, a small, flickering flame. It doesn't shout, it doesn't fight, it waits. It waits for the day we'll choose ourselves again, not because someone told us to, but because we deserve to. There is a silence that follows pain, not the kind that shouts, but the kind that simply stays. You feel it in your chest, not heavy, not light, just still, like a moment caught outside of time. You stop asking questions. Why me? Why now? Why this life? You've asked these questions 1,000 times, and the universe has answered with silence. So now, you match it. You stop expecting answers. You settle for echoes. Sometimes you look at old photos and wonder where that version of you went. The one who smiled, who hoped, who had light in their eyes. You barely recognize them now, not because they changed, but because you did. You begin to live in fragments, moments stitched together by breath and habit. Wake, survive, sleep, repeat. Not because you're weak, but because you're tired, deeply tired. And that's okay. No one says it, but it's okay to be tired of being strong. You start finding beauty in strange things. A crack on the wall, a flickering candle, the sound of thunder far away. Not because they bring joy, but because they remind you that broken things still make noise, that fading lights still shine. Sometimes you cry without knowing why, and it's not loud, not dramatic, just a quiet stream slipping down your cheek as you lie there, staring at the dark ceiling, waiting for a sleep that won't come. And maybe that's what it means to feel, not to perform, not to create poetry, but to sit quietly with your pain and let it whisper its truth to you. People say, time heals everything, but you know the truth. Time just teaches you how to carry pain with more grace, like a scar that becomes a part of your skin. It doesn't disappear. You just learn how to walk without flinching with every step. You begin to understand that being alone and feeling lonely are not the same. You can be surrounded by people and still feel invisible. You can laugh with friends and still feel miles away. Loneliness isn't about company, it's about connection. And some nights you wish someone would just say, I see you, I really see you. But no one does. So you become your own witness. You see yourself, your quiet endurance, your unseen strength, your invisible battles, and you start to honor the moments no one else noticed. Sometimes the heart just wants someone to sit beside it, quietly, without questions, without answers, just presence, just someone to share the weight of the silence. Many of us are the ones who smile for others all day long while silently breaking inside. We live in moments where silence becomes our loudest voice, where the eyes stay open, but the dreams are gone. Sometimes we are surrounded by people, yet feel completely unseen. Faces are everywhere, but no eyes ever really meet ours. Voices surround us, but not a single sound reaches our soul. And then, in some stray breath between the ticking seconds, we begin to understand ourselves. We start searching for light within our own shadows, not a bright, dazzling light, but a tiny flicker, burning quietly in a forgotten corner of the heart. We are the ones who fight silently during the day and cry silently at night. But do you know something? That silence is your strength. Those tears are your truth. That pain is your birthplace of real dreams, because the real dreams don't come dressed in sparkles. They're born out of ache. They grow in the soil of loneliness. They breathe inside silence. And with these dreams, we close our eyes every night with a hope that maybe tomorrow will be different, that maybe someone will finally see us, that maybe we will forgive ourselves. And even if no one sees us, we will become our own eyes, our own shelter, our own dream. If you've ever walked through nights like these, know this: you are not alone. We are not all the same, but our silences, they echo each other. Our pains are unique, but they bleed the same color. And in that shared color, we find the quiet thread that connects soul to soul. So the next time you lie there, alone, tired, silent, with your heart aching for something unnamed, remember, there's someone else right now, in this same silence, trying to piece themselves back together too. You're not alone. We are all travelers of quiet. If this story, these words, touched your heart, then our small journey together has found its meaning. Subscribe to our channel, not just for videos, but for something to hold on to. Because this isn't just sound. It's not just a voice in the dark. It's a dream. And maybe one day, this dream will feel real. Sleep well. And next time, we'll meet again. Good night, dreamer.